today we have to talk about Baby Doge. Actually, something big just now happened in Baby Doge. We're going to talk about that. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. But let's just hop straight into it. So we'll get to all the price action and everything inside of Baby Doge as well as Bitcoin. But first, I want to mention this. Baby Doge, the mission coin is now officially live. So this is the second one. They had the pause. Now they have Baby Doge token mission now live. So you can now go get the mission token for Baby Doge. So that's on their Telegram game, their Telegram app game, which is called Mission Possible, as you can see here. So yeah, it's now officially on KuCoin, Mexi, BingX, Gate.io, and you can do the mission to USDT trading pair. So I guess they're focusing more on this other token now. Let's see if they keep, pushing Baby Doge up, 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 and up. But yeah, they got a new project out here. I don't know which one of you guys want to look into it, but hey, they have a new project for the people that are big fans of the Baby Doge team. So anyways, over here you can see they also have a new listing outside of the four I just mentioned called 2bit. So they're now listed on there as well. So yep, go figure. You can go ahead and check that out if you want. So yeah, and now they're also doing official airdrop on there as well if you guys want to go benefit from that airdrop. But enough of that. Let's kind of talk about some price action here. So yesterday, when we were talking about Baby Doge, we were around this area right here, right? And then coming into the day, everything just started to drop and drop and drop. And then we bottomed out here at 8Z 1170. So at 8Z 1170, we bottomed. And now you can see we're trying to recover from there, or yeah, from there inside of Baby Doge. So we are trying to head towards 1250 now. But you have to also remember Bitcoin also just bottomed out. So Bitcoin also just now hit 108K, a level I was talking about. But I'm still on the notion that we're going to reach 104K too, and at the lowest 99K. But it looks a little weak here. The recovery for Bitcoin looks too weak to continue the rally upwards. So I think it might pull back to this 104K support. So if Bitcoin pulls back to 104K support, you also have to think about what Baby Doge would do. If Bitcoin pulled back to 104K support, the next support here for Baby Doge is similar to the next one for Bitcoin as well. So we would then be looking at the 1111 area down here, the 1111 support line for our Fibonacci retracement. So you would probably also expect Bitcoin to hit 104K simultaneously. Now this is the 1 hour chart. We are seeing on the 1 hour chart on the MACD that we were way oversold. Now we're seeing the buying flowing in. That's why we're seeing it kind of coming back up a little bit. And you can see the percent R trend exhaustion shows that the trend to the downside on the 1 hour chart is exhausted. So yes, Bitcoin does have the possibility to break out, get back to 112K. So it's not as bearish. But if it does not, things are going to be looking pretty bad here for Bitcoin. Not even that bad. It's going to go to 104K. And then if it breaks 104K, it'll go to 99K. It's not that bad. And it's actually a pretty good thing when you think about it holistically, because you can come over here and you can look at the the percentage area that I've actually set out here for us. So this shows what we would get if we pull back to 99K. If we pull back to 99K and then you hold to the previous all-time high of 123K, you will then get 26% inside of gains. So that's actually a pretty good amount of gains just by pulling back to 99K Bitcoin. So it gives you a discount and it gives you another chance at making even more money with Bitcoin. So that right there is, enough to make some people want to buy in at the 99K levels, because, it's probably not going to go down below 99K. Let's be honest. That's just what I think personally. Now, on the 30-minute chart, one thing here is concerning me. So this here is the percent R trend exhaustion, and I've been talking about how I've been using this recently, right? The blue line, I keep mentioning it, but I will keep mentioning it for the people that don't know. The blue line indicates the long-term trend. So the long-term trend on the 30-minute chart, which isn't that long because it's a 30-minute, but it's still the long-term trend. But the long-term trend on a 30-minute chart was overbought around the 28th. And that's because we've seen growth from 108K on the 25th all the way up here to the 29th or the 28th, where we've seen us hitting 113K, right? That was overbought. So the long-term trend is now pulled back. Now you see it's down, going sideways. This means the long-term trend for the 30-minute chart is bearish. And you see the white line going up, which means the short-term trend on the 30-minute chart is bullish. That's why you just seen that tiny increase in the price. But once this reaches the top, and it probably will go up to about this level here, about 109K, it will then pull back to this next one at 104K. If the blue long-term trend line on the 30-minute chart does not recover with the white short-term trend line. So we have to remember that. And since we just came off an oversold area, we're seeing that we're now having the buying pressure coming in, but that buying pressure is only going to come in for so long until the next drop comes. So you can also look here on the daily chart for Bitcoin. On the daily chart, we have not yet reached the bottom. You can actually see that with the percent R trend exhaustion. It's still bearish. It's still going to the downside. The long-term trend line is still going down, and the short-term trend line is still going on the downside too. So the percent R trend exhaustion shows that the trend to the downside has not been exhausted yet for Bitcoin. And I don't believe it will be exhausted until either 104K or 99K. There's some people that are saying 90K, but I think 99K is that level. It is possible that we go below it, but it is what it is. But what we are seeing on the MACD as well is that we are still pulling back and selling off here on the MACD as well. So the MACD does look like it's about to continue to the downside, so we also have to pay attention to that here on the daily chart. So overall, Bitcoin is looking bearish right now, and it's only going to be a short-term, temporarily bearish thing. So it's not really as big of a deal that some people are trying to make it seem like. But when you come to the weekly chart, this chart is the most concerning chart. We are completely exhausted on the percent R trend exhaustion for the upside completely. And then you can see the MACD is definitely overbought and trying to pull back and come down. But one thing that I will say is these markets can stay overbought for a pretty long period of time. But look at the last time it was up here like this, and the last time it was, making moves, and the last time Bitcoin was on an uptrend, right? We actually ended up seeing that pullback because the percent R trend exhaustion was over exhausted. So at this point, that's why I'm mentioning us pulling back to a 99K and then having a breakout, just like how we did here. We pulled back from 105K all the way down here to 77K, right? So we went from 105K down to 77K. And if you look at the percentage that pulled us back by, that was a good, that was a good 28%, right? 28%. And what I'm mentioning now, what's going on now, is actually a good 26% from 123K. And that's why I've been saying this is the perfect opportunity. Look, we had a 26% drop in a similar scenario. So if you look at the percent R trend exhaustion here for Bitcoin, this is exactly the same as this. So that tells us that this right here, this drop here, is going to be similar to this one right here. So we had 28% here, right? This area right here was 28%. And then this area is going to be set at 26, but it could go down slightly lower to make it at 28. You can see both of these lines are almost the exact same. Like this area here is almost the exact same as this area here. This area here is almost the exact same as this area here. That's why I think we're going to pull back to 99K and then break out from there. And then that'll be what brings us to 150K. But then after that time, the percent R trend exhaustion for the weekly chart is going to be completely exhausted because it had 4 rounds of pumping. And you can see, actually, let's say 5. One back here, back from 2022 to 2023. One back here from 2023 to 2024. And then one back here for 2024 to 2025. Because technically speaking, we've been in a bull run since the beginning of 2023. So since the beginning of the 2023, we have been in this bull run. We have been in a bull run. Look, January 2023, all the way down here at 20K Bitcoin. And then we've been up from there. So all the way through 2023, all the way through 2024, and now all the way through 2025. We've been in a bull run for almost 3 years now. Do you really not think it's going to reach a peak of 150K and then pull back? I think it's going to pull back at 150K. Anyways, I kind of got carried away there talking about Bitcoin. That's why I like making separate Bitcoin videos, because when it comes to Bitcoin, there's just so much information on the charts. There's so much information on the charts for Bitcoin, and it's very easy to chart Bitcoin if you're experienced at it. But when you got something like Baby Doge, there's just not enough info on the charts to do technical analysis sometimes. Sometimes you got to look at Bitcoin and then compare the two, right? So again, if Bitcoin pulls back to 104K, we're looking at 8Z1111. If Bitcoin pulls all the way back to 99K, now we're looking at 8Z1, and we're probably going to do this pretty soon. You're going to have that one opportunity to buy, and from there we should be up. And the Baby Doge team has been teasing something that's going to be going on inside of September, so we're going to see what that is. But anyways, this is all I got for you all today. I just kind of wanted to bring this all to you. Hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. Leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you want me to go over next. And as always, I'll be back with another video.